All right, I gotta tell you about some stuff that happened in my trip to Iraq that didn't make the show. So you know that I went to Iraq and performed for the troops. I love this one. Yes. All right, so here's my first question. First of all, clap if you are or have ever been military. Hello. Okay. So first of all, I love when all the conservatives come after me because they all fucking email me. All the Rush people and the fucking Hannity fans and the O'Reilly assholes and stuff. And by the way, you know none of them have gone to Iraq. Not any of them, right? O'Reilly's too busy putting a loop up some poor girl's pussy. All right, you read that, right? Oh, you gotta Google that shit. That's some good shit. All right, so anyway, I got to go perform for the troops, and it was truly an honor. And it's funny because my friends will say, you know, well, what was it like over there? And I'm like, it was fun because I didn't actually join. You know, I just got to like try to make them laugh. But it was, you know, it's a heavy thing, right? It's a heavy environment and stuff. And what I love about performing for the troops is that they have such a great sense of humor about themselves. So much more than Hollywood. So much more. Like, they let me make fun of W, they let me make fun of the war, they let me make fun of the food, the barracks. Like, they were just there to show up and have a good time, right? Although, I will say that what I was most nervous about, truly, was my material. Because I wasn't worried about getting bombed, I was worried about bombing, right? Because, you know, my material, I'm not like a joke teller, I have stories, and, you know, the armed forces are largely like 20-year-old straight guys from the South, right? I don't know if they think it's an international incident that Gwyneth Paltrow names her kid Moses and Apple. I don't know, I do. But I don't know if they do, right? So, I'm really nervous about that. I'm trying to think, you know, how am I gonna get them to laugh, and how can I make a good show for them and stuff. So, 3 days before I go over, and I went to Kuwait, to Crete, and Baghdad. 3 days before I go, I get this letter from the army with all these language restrictions. All right, I brought it. All right, here we go. So as if I wasn't nervous enough about the material, this is what they sent me. All right, here we go. Entertainment must be wholesome. And adhere to the standards of good taste. Check. Oh, shit. All right, emphasis is placed on the following. Number 1, an acknowledged deity will not be referred to in a manner that will offend a follower of any faith. There goes my all Catholics are kid fuckers routine. Okay. Number 2, profanity, vulgarity, or connotations of sexual depravity or perversions will not be used. There goes my clay and fisting chunk. All right, and then they put this one in that I just think is funny because it's so specific, as if something, you know, bad happened. All right, here we go. Hypnotists, or any type of act which results in participants temporarily losing control of any part of their mental faculties will not be used. What fucked up hypnotist went over there and hypnotized those boys to blow each other? Who? I want names. Who did it? But they had to put it in the letter. All right, so now I'm thinking, what am I going to do? You know me, I got to use the F word every 4 seconds or I don't feel I'm alive. It's like oxygen. And so I read down and I see that there's a penalty. Okay, any criminal conduct, indecency, or obscenity, any unexcused violation of the rules and regulations of the installation commander of the United States Armed Forces results in a letter. A letter? Oh, fuck it, it's on. You're gonna kick me out of the army? All right, you got it, General. So, and what I found when I went over there is, like I said, they're, you know, largely like 20-year-old guys. Their 2 favorite topics are pussy and beating off. I'm not kidding, they can talk about it all day. Whenever I made jokes about that, I was golden. The first time I said a bad word, they stood and cheered. The language restrictions went out the window in 2 seconds, right? Although it is, you know, like I said, it's a heavy, intense environment. And so I went over and in the first show, I did stand-up, and then I brought 2 friends with me to do improvisations after the stand-up. I brought Mike McDonald, who plays Stewart on Mad TV, who's so brilliant, and a Republican. And my friend Carrie Turner, who played Bud's wife on Jag, also a Republican, right? Yeah, so they were awesome, right? So the first night, I do my act, and then afterwards, I'm taking suggestions for the improvs. And, you know, keep in mind where we are. All right, you gotta keep that in mind, right? So I go, okay, everybody, I need somebody to shout out, what's an unusual item you'd find at the base? And this guy goes, dead baby! I think I heard lampshade. Okay, everybody, you know, I mean, And also the, I was, probably the thing that impressed me the most is that when I look out into the audience, you can't believe that they're just kids. Like rosy-cheeked kids, and that like sort of blows your mind. And also the women, the ratio is 100-to-1 for the women. Those chicks are so badass. The gays thing is heavy. Like don't ask, don't tell is an understatement. It's like we find out, we kick your ass. And here's what I'm thinking. I know a lot of gay guys, right? I speak gay, it's my second language. And so I thought if 10% of the population is gay, of course I'm gonna meet some gay guys over there, but I'm not gonna out anybody. Like that's way uncool. I'm not gonna be talking about Project Runway. All right, that's a red flag. So I'd be over there and I would hear guys come up to me and they'd be like, oh my God, I love you. So does my wife. Your wife, Larry? Okay, I'm not gonna ask, it's not my place. It's not my place. All right, so I learned a lot, right? And I was in Camp Victory in Baghdad, which is as big as the city. And this officer came up to me and he said, ma'am, we'd like you to go do a show at FOB sites. And I said, okay, what does that mean? And he said, FOB stands for Forward Operating Base, and sites is the name of a fallen soldier. And they named the camps after fallen soldiers. So in Tikrit, I was in Camp Spiker, named after Scott Spiker, and then FOB Sites was named after a soldier named Sites. So I said, yeah, I'll go wherever you guys want. And he goes, well, ma'am, a lot of the artists won't go over there. And I said, oh, I'm just curious, why's that? And he said, well, ma'am, it's next to Abu Ghraib, and it takes a lot of mortar fire because the Iraqis are still pissed. Now put the fucking Kevlar vest on and helmet. All right. And by the way, when you're on the D list, you don't get the armored vehicle. Right? You know what you always see on CNN about the armored vehicle? So I get in the car to go to FOB sites, and I used to go, so is this one of those armored vehicles with the steel plating? No, ma'am, it's a Ford Explorer. Can I have another helmet? All right, so I go over there, and it really was more remote, and it did feel even more intense. And I want to tell you about two guys I will never forget as long as I live. Now, I hope you think this is funny, but it's pretty sick. So I go there and I meet the base commander, and he's a really nice guy, and we're taking pictures and stuff. And then he says, ma'am, there's a couple of soldiers here I want you to meet. So I said, fine. So he calls in these two guys, I'll never forget them, Torres and Duchamp. All right, so they come in, and he's taking, I'm taking a picture with him like this, and the base commander is kind of chuckling. And he says, ma'am, you gotta put these two in your comedy. Like that. And I'm used to people saying that to me, right? So I said, well, what did they do? And he goes, well, ma'am, they're best buds. And a couple of weeks ago, they were kind of mixing it up in the barracks, and things got out of hand, and Duchamp stabbed Torres. He was in the hospital for about a week. Right? And I look at Duchamp, and I'm like, are we good, Duchamp? Are we cool? Flashbacks? Good day, bad day? And these guys are like chuckling, right? All right, so a few minutes later, I'm on stage and I'm doing my act, but in the back of my head, I'm thinking, should I bring this up? And this is a heavy thing. One guy could stab the other guy who was in the hospital for a week. So I thought, oh, let's go for it. So I said, I'm really happy to be here. I just got to meet Torres and Duchamp backstage.